Good evening, Kane.
Hi there.
Tough luck. Just about to begin the post-match press conference with New Zealand first. Kane Williamson.
I can hear you.
Hello, Kane.
Hi
This
there.
is Jamil Hassan from Mashriq TV, Pakistan. Indeed, it's a tough day for you. I've got two questions from you. First question is related to today's performance. How tough it was facing Pakistan fiery spell, uh, especially Shaheen Shah Afridi and Haris Rauf. How tough they were. And my second question, you answer this. I will ask a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're both world-class bowlers, and they were outstanding today, as they were the other night in their first match. So in a lot of ways, you expect that to be the case. They continued to deliver, and they were outstanding performers for Pakistan today.
My second and most important question is, New Zealand has withdrawn the series at the end with Pakistan. The Pakistani fans, so does the players, including the board. They were very angry, and they showed aggression towards New Zealand board and BLACKCAPS. So how different you find them today on field? Were they aggressive towards you, or no? They were playing simple cricket?
No, they played in the right spirit, I believe, and in a great spirit. They're a very competitive, proud cricketing nation, and they showed that tonight, and they've been outstanding in the first couple of games of this tournament, and I'm sure they'll be very, very competitive throughout the back end as well, and their hopes are high, no doubt. That was obviously a very unfortunate, disappointing situation for Pakistani cricket fans and the cricketers. A decision that was outside of the players' control, but all the guys were there, looking forward to that series to start, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. So it was all very disappointing for all involved.
I thank you for your kind comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Kane. Just want to ask you that is there a major difference in tracks as compared to IPL conditions, tracks? And the second part of the question is how much difference you think that absence of Lockheed Ferguson created in today's game?
Yeah, Lockheed is a world-class T20 cricketer, so naturally a big loss for us on that surface as well. He's played a lot on it with KKR, so that was quite unfortunate. And obviously not to be able to replace him with Adam Milne, who's now coming into the side at some point when that's allowed. So unfortunate timing, but having said that, the guys went out and competed really well and made a lot of good decisions along the way. And when you play those low-scoring matches on tough surfaces like we did tonight, the game is very small margins, and unfortunately, when it counted, a couple of misses means a lot, and there's a lot to learn from those experiences. But at the end of the day, Pakistan were outstanding, and they finished the game off beautifully on a very tough surface.
Again, the first part of the question, the conditions, how different it is from the IPL.
Oh, yeah, quite similar. We played I think a couple of games here, and some of the Kolkata guys played maybe 3 or 4. So it was very low, and it was quite clear the sort of length that you wanted to try and hit more often than not, and then you got a bit out of the surface in terms of it keeping quite low, or off cutters or cutters into the surface reacted quite a lot, which meant timing was quite tricky, and a bit of dew as well, which is something we saw a little bit towards the back end of the IPL. So a number of different factors that come with the conditions, and we were aware of that going into it. So in that second half, we were quite optimistic that if we could get off to a good start, which we were able to do, and build that pressure, which we were also able to do, then it could go a long way to getting a reasonable result. But unfortunately, it didn't, and Pakistan really showed their class.
Salman Khan, you got a question?
Thank you, Ken. This is Salman Khan from Pakistan. New Zealand bowled very well in the middle overs, but in the last 5 overs, things were not going your way. What do you think that what was the turning point of the match due to which match got out of your hands?
Yeah, I think at one stage it was required about maybe 52 or 30-ish, or I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it was a tough surface to time the ball, and someone like Shoaib Malik batting through and finishing off with a couple of lusty blows, and Afif as well, who came in and hit the ball beautifully, much more sweet than anybody else on a tricky surface, and yeah, unfortunately it didn't quite go our way, and I suppose if we look at the opposition and how clinical they were at the death and not allowing us to time the ball, they were, of the highest class. And for us, it's trying to take some of those learnings and move forward. And, we've got another tough challenge against India at a different venue. So there's some more planning to be done there.
Hi, Kane. This is Adris Malik from Frontline. And what's your message for the Pakistani people after this victory of the Pakistan? Because the New Zealand at the last minute of the tour pull out. And will you go for the PSL if there is any option for you in the coming season for the solidarity of the cricket and the people of the Pakistan? Because you told the decision was out of the box of the players, not from the players.
Yeah, I guess there's a few parts to that question, and I touched on it a little bit earlier that it was very, very disappointing for not only Pakistan players and fans, but also the players that were there that were really enthusiastic about playing in the series, and it was a real shame to not have that series go ahead and be played in front of what are some of the most passionate cricket supporters in the world and a very proud cricketing nation. So that was a real shame. And the Pakistan League is a brilliant league, and sometimes that clashes, I think, with some of our cricket back home. So that's always a tough one. But as an international player, often you do look at these other opportunities when the timing is right, and they're always fantastic experiences. And I've heard a lot of really good things from other players that have played over there as well. And it's I suppose something to consider in the future.
Ian Anderson, you can go next. Stuff.
Kane, just a question regarding your own innings. How were you trying to approach that? Is that a sort of a track that you need to try and build an innings on?
Yeah, it was the sort of surface that was very difficult to start on, and then you wanted to try and identify some opportunities to have big overs because you were always going to have the dot balls, and it was very similar characteristics to what we saw throughout the IPL. So I think we would have liked about another 5 or 10, and it would have been, to be fair, I thought we had a very competitive total at the first half, but in hindsight, you always want a few more. But there were a lot of really important roles that allowed us to get that competitive total, so I think there was a lot of good to take from it. Be nice to cloth another boundary or two, but timing was quite challenging to come by, and that's the nature of the beast. Sometimes you try and adapt to these different surfaces and accordingly and try and make contributions for the team, and I think guys went out there today and really gave that a good shot.
Thanks.
Hi, Kane. Just a word or two on the atmosphere, please. How much do you think that made a difference this evening?
The atmosphere?
Yes, the atmosphere, Kane.
Yeah, it was good. Nice to play in front of sort of pretty much a full house, I think, it's been a long time coming, although there weren't too many Kiwis in there, but still a lot of energy and a lot of enjoyment from the people that were watching. So that was great, and yeah, nice to be back in amongst crowds.
And do you think that made much of a difference in terms of especially the pressure put on your team this evening?
Oh, don't know. I don't really think so. Just like I say, I think the guys kind of enjoyed it, to be honest, and it was a close game and sort of pipped at the end to a large extent by some really high class batting and sort of finishing in those death overs, and that was, I think, the difference. But like I say, there was a lot of good in the cricket that we played, and we'll have to make those adjustments again going to another venue against another side.
Cool. Last two.
Thanks, Kane.
Hi, Kane. Talking about today's performance, do you think if you have played in Pakistan earlier, you would have known Pakistani team better and could have performed well today?
I suppose it's tough. There are no promises in this game, and you try and prepare as well as you can. And we've played each other a number of times over the years, and Pakistan have certainly played a lot over here in the UAE, and I think they've been very, very clinical in how they've approached their first two matches and really shown their class and why they're one of the favourites in the competition. But for us, there was a lot of good, a lot of learning as well, in those sort of fine, small moments that can make a big difference. But it's important we do learn from those and move forward and look forward to the next challenge.
And final one from me, Kane. Just a word on Devin Conway's catch and potentially what some of him and the new guys in their first World Cup would have got out of that experience today.
Yeah, a fantastic catch. What we thought might have been a big game changer, and it was. I mean, Hafiz is a fantastic player, and he came out and started playing beautifully on a tough surface. But yeah, a lot of guys' first World Cup, T20 World Cup, so a really special occasion. A shame it didn't sort of finish in the way we would have wanted it to, but like I say, it's important to sort of learn from some of those lessons. And you know, in tournament play, it is a little bit different from just the bilateral series, so they are really good experiences to have, and it is important that we pick ourselves up and just look forward to that next game, because throughout this round robin play, they sort of come thick and fast.
Cool. Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time, Kane.